I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the October 7th Town Board meeting. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Jeff Renahan, First Ward.
Bill Carlos, Second Ward.
Jessica Lopez, 3rd Ward.
Michael Safone, Fourth Ward.
Ann Shershon, 6th Ward.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, attorney for the town.
John Bailey, Town Supervisor. Welcome, everybody. We have a rather short agenda. First item on the agenda is a public hearing to amend Town Code Chapter 21029 Red Oaks Mill Neighborhood Services Center District. Number 2, public hearing, special district budgets. Number 3, appoint Nicholas Lent as a police officer. Number 4, authorize the supervisor to sign agreement with Certain Inc. Police Firewall Support Services. Number 5, set a date for public hearing of 2021 budget. Number 6, presentation by Victor Cornelius in reference to Hudson Heritage Grant. Number 7, waive Mike and Joe's Brick Oven Pizza liquor license notice. Number 8, authorize Supervisor Baisley to sign an agreement with the County Duchess in reference to GML 239 referrals. Number 9, accept the 2020 minutes. Number 10, authorize, sign, and approve the agreement with the PBS Parking for an Amnesty Program for 2020. Number 11, accept certificates of attendance for Ray and Carl Whitehead. Number 12, authorize special consent SC1, amend the election form and general release for 2020 voluntary separation incentive program. And with that, I'd like to open public hearing number 1, amend Town Code Chapter 21029 Red Oaks Mill Neighborhood Service Center District.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody that would like to discuss a public hearing number 1? No, Bill, you want to give a little bit? That was your...
Yes. This is coming out of the Red Oaks Mill Town Center, and it is to allow drive-up windows. Way back, even before me, there was a movement in that area because they were concerned about McDonald's or Burger King or something like that going in. And a section was put in the zoning to prohibit drive-up. So this resolution allows it. They still have to go before the boards for the special permit application. But Dunkin' Donuts, which is one of my favorite places, will be able to have a drive-up window. That's what this is about.
Okay, is there anybody else that would like to discuss that public hearing? If not, make a motion to close the first public hearing.
Second.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jeff?
Being enacted that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie pursuant to a duly noticed public hearing held on October 7th, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby adopt local law amendments to Chapter 210 entitled Zoning, specifically 210-29 regarding restaurant drive-in and drive-through facilities entitled Red Oaks Mill Neighborhood Service Centers District, and be it further enacted that the local law amendments are annexed hereto as Exhibit A and incorporated herein as recited verbatim with the words underlined to be added and those words stricken to be deleted. And the Town Board does direct that said amendments be spread across the record as if they, in fact, had been read verbatim. And be it further enacted that the Town Board has previously declared its intent to act as lead agency under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and does declare said action to be a Type 1 action under New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and be it further enacted that the Town Board has reviewed the long environmental assessment form prepared by the Director of Municipal Development and hereby determines that 1, the adoption of the herein zoning amendment would not have a significant adverse effect on the environment, and 2, the supervisor is authorized to execute Part 2 of the EAF as drafted. 3, a draft environmental impact statement will not be required for the reasons set forth in the attached determination of no significance, and 4, a negative declaration is hereby issued. And be it further enacted that a written recommendation was received from the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Economic Development dated September 11, 2020, stating that the proposed amendment was a matter of local concern. And be it further enacted that a written recommendation dated September 18, 2020 was received from the Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board, in which said board recommended adoption of the herein amendments, subject to applicants being required to also obtain a special use permit, which condition has been added to the proposed amendment as adopted. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of the public hearing was posted on September 9, 2020, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on September 21, 2020. Be it further enacted that the town clerk notify the clerks of the surrounding municipalities of the public hearing pursuant to GML 239-NN. And be it further enacted, and that said local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
Then motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. That brings us to public hearing number 2 on our yearly special district budgets, which are water districts, sewer districts, drainage districts in the town. I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 2.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Would anybody like to discuss public hearing number 2? Either raise your hand or *6 to unmute.
Is there anybody that would like to speak? Judith? Anybody?
Anybody like to speak on public hearing number 2? If not, make a motion to close public hearing number 2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Jeff?
Read that one? Sure. Be resolved that the town board, want to read it?
I got it. Resolution number 2. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, pursuant to a public hearing held on the 7th day of October 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby adopt the Special District Assessment Role, which concerns the water districts, sewer districts, and drainage districts of the Town of Poughkeepsie. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on September 9th, 2020, and published in Poughkeepsie Journal on September 21st, 2020. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. That brings us to the end of our public hearings. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item on the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on any item that is on the agenda for tonight? You want to speak, *6 to unmute, or *9, raise your hand?
Doesn't look like I see anybody.
Okay, motion to resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Jessica?
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Nicholas P. Lent to the position of full-time police officer under the provisions of civil service law at the starting yearly salary of $61,985.70, effective October 26, 2020, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 26 nor more than 52 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Congratulations, Officer Lent.
Be resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorizing the supervisor to sign a service agreement with Certain Inc. for firewall service support at the Town of Poughkeepsie Police Department for a one-year term at the annual cost of $2,736, which price represents a 9% discount. It be it further resolved, the Town Board further finds that it would be not in the best interest of the town to solicit alternative proposals or quotations for such service, And be it further resolved, the town board finds that this is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this? The chief is here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved pursuant and in accordance with the provisions of Section 106 of the Town Law and other applicable provisions of law, the tentative statement of estimated expenditures and revenue heretofore submitted by the supervisor is adopted as a preliminary budget of the Town of Poughkeepsie for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2021, and such preliminary budget is on file at the Town Clerk's office for the Town of Poughkeepsie for public inspection, and be further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 21st day of October 2020 at 7 p.m. at Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as the time, date, and place of a public hearing on the preliminary budget for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2021, and which time all interested parties will have the opportunity to be heard, which preliminary budget was approved by this board and filed with the town clerk. And be further resolved, the town clerk hereby authorizes, empowered, and directed to advertise said public hearing in the Poughkeepsie Journal no less than 5 days prior to the public hearing, and to post the same on the town clerk's bulletin board. And be further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Number 6 should be a presentation by Victor Cornelius. Felicia, do you see him on the list?
Victor. I do not see Victor.
No, we'll go and we'll wait till the end and we'll see if he
See if he
Sure.
comes on.
shows up. Number 7, be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby acknowledge receipt of a request on behalf of LGD KG Corp., Mike and Joe's Brick Oven, 64 Creek Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, for waiver of the 30-day period for a liquor license application. And be it further resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the clerk's forwarding of a waiver and consent pursuant to the attached request. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas Dutchess County has authorized municipal cooperation agreements which will continue to eliminate the necessity for towns to refer certain planning and zoning applications to the county's Department of Plan Development for review and comments pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 239M. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor or his designee is authorized to sign an agreement with the County of Dutchess to clarify and continue the limited referral process for 5 years. And be it further resolved that this is type 2 action requiring no secret review. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Any questions with that? No, just another way to cut a little bit of red tape out, so it helps. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Resolution number 9. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the minutes for the following 2020 Town Board meetings, to wit, August 5th, 2020, regular Town Board meeting, August 19th, 2020, Committee of the Whole / regular Town Board meeting, September 2nd, 2020, regular Town Board meeting, September 23rd, 2020, regular Town Board meeting, September 30th, 2020, special Town Board meeting. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any question on these? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas it is in the best interest of the town of Poughkeepsie, the town, to take such actions as may be necessary and to assure the proper enforcement of parking summonses returnable to the town justice courts and to provide the collection of the fine attendant thereto, and with FBS Systems Incorporated to pursue the collection of delinquent town of Poughkeepsie parking ticket fines, and whereas the supervisor, town board, and town justices wish to provide an opportunity during a limited period for certain town justice court traffic ticket defendants to dispose of their matters in an orderly fashion, which will also be a benefit to the town. Now therefore be it resolved that an initiative known as Justice Court Amnesty and Compliance Project 2020, the Amnesty Program, Be and hereby is established, and be it further resolved that the amnesty program shall commence on October 15th, 2020, and can conclude on November 15th, 2020. And be it further resolved that the amnesty program shall apply to parking ticket defendants who are in default on tickets issued after July 1st, 2015, and have had penalties assessed. And be it further resolved that the town accept FBS's offer to provide an amnesty notice to all eligible defendants and authorizes FBS to reduce the balance due on eligible tickets exclusively of any New York State surcharges by 50% for defendants who timely respond to FBS's notice. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute any documents necessary to effect the amnesty program. This resolution shall take effect immediately. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on this one? This is, one of the reasons they put this out was to get cleaned up due to COVID, having such a backlog of tickets, that this may make it easier to clean them up on top of just helping people out.
Okay, so this is tickets issued after January 1st, 2015 to now?
Yep. Right.
Okay.
Well, we did this a few years ago, and we had a very good return.
Yeah, we've done this before.
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Thanks, Jay.
Be it resolved, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the certificate of attendance for Paul Leahy for a 2-hour educational session on land use presented by the Land Use Center for Participation in Dutchess County Planning Federation webinar entitled Skills That Make Great Board Members, copies of which are attached. Be it further resolved that the Town Board does hereby accept an email confirmation for Carl Whitehead for participation in the City of Poughkeepsie webinar entitled Active Transportation and Complete Streets. A copy of said email confirmation is attached. So moved.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit. Approve amended election form and general release for 2020 voluntary separation incentive program. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the Town Board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
If I could, before you start reading this, this amendment that was passed out replaces the one that you had gotten in your packets earlier.
Right.
Whereas by Resolution 923, number 15 of 2020, Town of Poughkeepsie Town Board adopted a voluntary separation incentive program, the program, as described in election form and general release annexed here thereto. And whereas the Town of Poughkeepsie Highway Department has historically provided excellent snow clearing and ice control services to town residents and traveling public, and Superintendent Pfeiffer is mindful of the need to continue to provide these high-quality services during the upcoming winter season. Now therefore be it resolved that paragraph 2, the eligibility requirements of the program 4 and 5 are amended to add the following language. This program is non-precedent setting, and I must irrevocably elect this program on or before October 9, 2020. I acknowledge and understand that by election, I must resign, retire on a date certain prior to December 31st, 2020, or if I am employed of the Town Highway Department prior to March 31st, 2021. I irrevocably resign, retire from employment on blank date, 2021. This is the first day of your retirement and the last day of the day after your last day of work. And be it further resolved that all other terms of voluntary separation incentive shall remain in full force and effect, including the town's reservation of right to approve inclusion in the program on a title-by-title basis. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this one?
Excuse me, Mr. Supervisor, that first paragraph with the underlining in it, did that end with prorated through that day as you read it?
Negative.
He's got the older copy.
I got the older copy. Here, I'll reread that paragraph. That this program is non-precedent setting, and I must irrevocably elect this program on or before October 9, 2020. I acknowledge and understand that by election, I must resign and retire on a date certain prior to December 31st, 2020, or if I am an employee of the Town Highway Department, I will continue as a town employee and retire on March 31st, 2021, with my benefits prorated through that day. We'll make a motion of correction.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion on the resolution.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0, 6-0. That brings us to the end. Victor Cornelius, did he show up? Do you see him on there? Oh, there he is. Victor, you almost missed us. We're almost done. You're up.
I'm sorry, Felicia, there's some feedback. Are you able to mute everyone on our end, please? Someone's not muted, and I'm hearing a lot of feedback. I can't hear anything in the meeting room.
Okay, how's that? I think I got everyone.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's hard to do both things.
Yeah. Jessica, Victor Cornelius just showed up to discuss the Hudson Heritage Project. Victor, 2 minutes later, you would have missed us, but go ahead and start.
I apologize.
The board has not, just so you know, the board has not been filled in on the discussions that we had earlier in the week.
All right, good.
You may need to take off your mask to do the presentation. You're away.
No, it's all right. This is a better thing for me.
Okay.
Okay. I'm here to request that the town board consider an economic development administration.
Can you hold on 1 second? Jessica, can you hear well from your standpoint?
Well enough.
Okay. Maybe if you get closer to the mic, that'll help.
An economic development grant to offset the cost of the Hudson Heritage Sewer System. The grant itself is a part of the CARES funding that came out in March, and it's a $3 million grant request that is based upon funding infrastructure that supports economic development projects, publicly owned infrastructure. It's sort of ideally positioned. The other piece of eligibility that we're concerned about is that it be implemented in an area with a high unemployment ratio. And according to census statistics in the town, the area that we're talking about for Hudson Heritage actually is eligible for this funding. It's open now. It's a kind of a first come, first served basis on financing. I'm being encouraged by Congressman Maloney's office to pursue it for this project, and it would offset the borrowing need of the sewer project by up to $3 million. We would apply for $3 million. We would not necessarily get that full amount, but we would get likely something in a grant that would offset the necessity to draw the full amount for ESC. I believe the town at this point has no other needs for that grant pool or any other priorities that might interrupt it. I would be delighted to take on writing those requests for the town.
And Victor, one of the questions we had asked you was this would not affect us getting any grants for the town. There was no dollar value that would stop the town for applying for the same kind of grant.
No, that would not.
And the CARES Act grant was based on income-based to help neighborhoods with high unemployment?
It is unemployment-based, not income-based. There is a high unemployment ratio in census tract data for that particular area.
What's the amount you can get maximum for this grant?
$3 million.
They're applying for the full $3 million?
Yep.
And also, there was no set date, if I'm correct, on when we apply. It's just a matter of when the money runs out, right? It's not like a...
Yeah, it's also, EDA is also an old and continuing program with the Department of Commerce. And so they get an annual allocation. This is a particular supplement that they got through the CARES Act this year. So their staff is a little stretched because they're cash rich at the moment. And that's why I was encouraged to apply for this project. It meets all the criteria.
Excuse me, sir, and you work for which company?
I have my own company. I am on retainer to the city of Poughkeepsie, the city of Newburgh, and the town of Hillsdale. I also am on retainer to the developer.
Yeah, Bill, this project, he's applying for Hudson Heritage.
Does Hudson Heritage know?
Yes, I was going to say 10 years.
You know,
Yeah, we have to be the
I need to
applier.
hear more.
Okay, we have to be the body that applies for it.
You have the system.
And how are you involved, sir? You gonna write the grant?
Yes, I'm a grant writer.
And then you get a percentage of the amount?
No, I get paid as I see it. So we go through grant writers get percentages.
Okay, fine, thank you. Sorry for the confusion.
No, no problem. I'd be
I
happy
have a
to-
question.
Sure.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jessica.
Is this the same grant that we had talked about regarding this project in the past, the one that would have to be applied for in the town's name, but they were going to administer and take care of the whole thing, they being Hudson Heritage? Is that the same thing that we're speaking about now?
No, there are a number of grants that, the town is going to own the sewer system. So the town should be the applicant. This is a grant that's only available to the municipalities for municipal infrastructure. There are none of grants that do that. The town actually may have other priorities for the other grants. This one, given its eligibility framework, would be ideal for this project.
Victor, I think Jessica was referring to the $10 million, $11 million grant that we got down to $6 million.
That's actually not a grant, it's a loan.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
loan with lower interest rate.
Yes,
Yeah.
with EFC.
Yeah.
So this is an outright grant?
This is
Yes.
an outright grant.
At least could lower it.
Jessica, you were able to understand that?
Yeah, I understand now that we're speaking about two different things.
Yeah,
Right. This will offset that loan.
yeah. If they get this grant, Jessica, this will offset the loan that we got from before. So it'll help out whoever the residents are up there when the time comes. And the fact that we won't be borrowing as much money. Jim, you had a question?
Good.
That was basically my question. These monies will come into the town. They can be used to back-end pay down the loan. Is that correct?
Well, the loan is structured so that there are actually two loans. A construction period, where you have the actual construction going on, which is 3 years, or 75% of the project completion, whichever happens first. Then the state rolls the short-term loan over into a 30-year bond. At the rollover point, all grants are applied to reduce the principal.
Okay. And does
So-
this have the effect of ultimately reducing the cost of the benefit assessments
Yes,
that property owners up
Yes.
there will pay?
yes. We're looking at, if we get the full 3 million, a little less than a third of the borrowing cost.
Sounds like a winner.
Anybody else have any questions on this? Victor, thanks for rushing down here.
Not a
Jessica, do you have any
problem.
other questions?
No.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jim?
Are you going to consider this and then bring forward a resolution? or
Correct.
is-
Yeah, we're not voting tonight.
Okay, pardon me, I'm
Okay.
done.
Thank you all for your time. Please feel free to ask any questions and consider me a resource in all of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you.
Jay, do you have his contact info?
Yep. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item at all.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody who would like to speak on any item at all? *6 to unmute, or *9 to raise your hand.
Or you can unmute yourself if you're on Zoom. Give you 1 more minute. Is there anybody out there that'd like to speak?
I'd like to make a motion to resume the rules.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jeff?
Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adjourn to executive session to consider the following matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and matters subject to attorney-client privilege. So move.
Second.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 6-0. Jessica, did you receive the call-in number?
I did, but since I'm the only one not there, does someone just want to call my cell phone? Or is that easier, or
Well,
do you
I'll
want to
call-
do it
I'll
the
call you
official
this-
way? You tell me.
I'll call your cell phone from the office.
Okay, sounds good.
That works. Town Board is
Okay.
in the executive session at 7:30 PM. Thank you, everybody, for coming.